You ever wake up in a fantasy world with amnesia, immediately recruited to save a dying land, and the first thing you do is start planting turnips? Yeah, that's Rune Factory. Guardians of Azuma in a nutshell. A game that throws you in divine drama, monster fights, and more town council meetings than your average Animal Crossing playthrough. If you love deep dives and honest takes on weird new games, hit that like button and subscribe to Veteran Game. Let's break down whether this is the farm sim JRPG shakeup we've been waiting for. So let's set the scene. Our hero, either Kaguya or the male protagonist, literally falls out of the sky, crash lands through the roof of a shrine, and is promptly greeted by a flying, talking sheep who lets you know that saving the world is now your day job. In classic Rune Factory style, you have amnesia, but there's no time for existential dread. You're immediately thrust into the role of the Earth Dancer, which is just a fancy way of saying, congratulations, you're now the universe's most overworked volunteer. Azuma, the world you now call home, is in rough shape. Crops are dying, monsters roam freely, and the guardian gods have straight up ghosted their people. Blight has spread across the land, and after a mysterious cosmic calamity, everything is a mess. You're not just a bystander here. You get handed the keys to not one but four themed villages: spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and you're put in charge of rebuilding each of them, restoring divine balance, and making sure nobody starves in the meantime. Now, I know what you're thinking: four villages, a cast of quirky gods, tons of NPCs, romance, farming, monster slaying, and community management. Isn't that a bit much? At first, yeah, it's a lot. You'll spend the first several hours with more tasks than resources, bouncing between farming, fighting, and socializing. The early game is almost too busy, with menus to navigate, quests to manage, and everyone in the village desperately needing your help. But stick with it and you'll find a groove. Let's talk about the world and story. Is it original? Not really. You're the chosen one with amnesia. There are four villages to save, each associated with a season and its own guardian god, all of whom have gone missing or lost their powers. The story starts simple. You visit each village, help the local god recover, defeat a few monsters, and get forcibly promoted to town chief. By the time you're managing your third village, even the characters are starting to joke about how often you get volunteered for more work. Still, the further you go, the more the story opens up, adding new twists and layers of intrigue that keep you invested past the first dozen hours. The real heart of Guardians of Azuma is the cast. At first, you might find some villagers a little flat, but as you unlock more areas and invest time in side quests, the personalities start to shine. The best part, the gods themselves. These aren't your typical wise, all-knowing deities. They bicker, hold grudges, and get distracted just like real people. Some are anxious, some are mischievous, and some just want a nap. Relatable, right? The godly drama feels less like a pantheon and more like a group of siblings fighting over the TV remote. Over time, the interactions become genuinely funny and surprisingly heartfelt, especially as you start piecing together the mystery behind the blight and the collapse. Now let's dig into the village management, which is where this Rune Factory tries to stand out. You're not just planting a handful of crops outside your house. You're developing entire villages, laying out roads, placing buildings, and assigning jobs to the locals. On paper, it sounds amazing, almost like City Builder Light for fans of cozy games. But while there's definitely satisfaction in watching a sleepy village turn into a bustling community, the mechanics can feel shallow. Placing decorations and buildings increases arbitrary stats, sometimes in bizarre ways, like a bakery boosting your combat power, and it's more about making numbers go up than actually managing a real living place. Sometimes it feels like you're decorating a set for a play, rather than running a town where anyone actually lives. Farming too is a huge departure from the series' roots. Hardcore sim fans, brace yourselves. It's been streamlined to the point of feeling almost hands-off. Each village is permanently locked to a single season. Spring crops in Spring Village, winter crops in Winter Village, and so on. You can automate nearly every task, assigning villagers to farm, harvest, and craft while you focus on bigger picture stuff. Soil quality, crop rotation, and even the changing seasons, things that used to define Rune Factory, are basically gone. If you want to micromanage your fields, you can, but the game really encourages you to set it and forget it. Is this a downgrade? Honestly, it depends on what you're looking for. If you love the grind of tending every plant and experimenting with recipes, you might find this new system disappointingly simple. But if you're tired of busy work and want to spend more time questing, socializing, and exploring, this setup is actually a breath of fresh air. It's all about freeing you up to enjoy the world, the story, and most importantly, the combat. And here's a surprise. The combat in Guardians of Azuma is genuinely fun. For the first time in a while, you're not just spamming the attack button and hoping for the best. There are multiple weapon types, a satisfying dodge and counter system, and best of all, sacred treasures, magical artifacts that give you special powers both in and out of battle. Want to blast enemies with water, heal your allies with a drum, or lay waste with a flaming sword? Go for it. Sacred treasures also have uses outside combat, letting you water crops faster or clear blight from corrupted land, tying your adventures directly into your village management. Later in the game, enemies start hitting harder, forcing you to actually pay attention, dodge, and use the right tools for the job. But the real showstopper is the social system. Forget those days of endlessly gifting random items just to max out a friendship bar. Relationships in Guardians of Azuma are built through real interaction. You get a range of options every time you hang out with a villager, choosing topics of conversation, inviting them to new locations, or taking part in unique activities. Romance is just as nuanced. Instead of gifting 100 turnips to someone who only likes carrots, you can actually get to know people, have fun with them, and see your relationships develop naturally over time. Some of the personal quests for villagers and gods are straight up hilarious, like helping a shape-shifting trickster cause chaos at the local festival, or teaching a shy deity how to network at a party. All these systems work together to create a gameplay loop that's as cozy as it is chaotic. The first 10 hours are packed, almost overwhelming, with so much to do and not enough resources to do it all. But as you unlock more villages, automate more tasks, and level up your relationships, the chaos turns into a kind of harmony. Villages run themselves, your calendar fills up with festivals and side stories, and the world feels alive with constant activity. Watching characters you met in one village settle down in another, helping friends solve weird problems, or just seeing your towns thrive is incredibly satisfying. Of course, Guardians of Azuma isn't perfect. The village building system is mostly cosmetic, and it's weirdly disconnected from how the villagers actually live. Farming fans may find the automation a bit too easy, and the narrative, while charming, won't win any awards for originality. The early game's pacing is off, with too much menu hopping and a learning curve that might turn off some players. But for every dull moment of placing yet another identical fence or clicking through awkward menus, there's a genuinely funny conversation, a creative boss fight, or a cozy moment of Harvest Festival joy. So who is this game for? If you're in love with the deep farming and crafting systems of classic Rune Factory or Harvest Moon, you might be disappointed by how streamlined it all feels here. But if you're looking for a cozy adventure with vibrant characters, meaningful relationships, and a world that genuinely reacts to your choices, Guardians of Azuma is a wonderful, sometimes chaotic ride. For me, the biggest surprise was how much time I spent just enjoying the world, wandering from town to town, helping a god out with their existential crisis, or watching my once barren villages come to life with festivals, friendships, and weird little in-jokes. Once everything clicked, Guardians of Azuma became more than just another farming sim. It's a game about community, about making a place feel like home, and about finding joy in the messy, unpredictable process of rebuilding a broken world. What did you think? Does this streamlined approach make Guardians of Azuma the new gold standard for farm life RPGs? Or did you miss the old school grind? Drop your stories, favorite villagers, and romance pics in the comments below. And if you want more deep dive, no BS gaming reviews, subscribe to Veteran Game where the cozy chaos never stops, and every game gets a fair shot at redemption.